Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. Hello, hello. What's happening? What's happening? What's happening? First Sky Omaha Radio, First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
Paul B, buddy to God. You know what it is. Time to get up. Move your body. It's Friday, fool. Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. What's really going on?
What's happening?
Man.
Is this thing on?
Friday, August 19th, 2022.
2-2.
You feeling good? It's Friday?
Yeah, kind of. Kind of.
You work on the weekend, don't you?
Yeah, man. Yeah, my days just kind of melt together. Like I usually look up like, it's Monday already?
Pretty much. Ron's review said, come on now, you know I'm all up in this piece.
Hey.
So Mir Sanchez.
Mir Sanchez in the building.
In the building. Hey. There's Pop says, good Friday morning, everybody. Sending mad love from Vegas to you all. What's going on, Pops? I'm looking at pictures of Vegas with water coming through casino walls and all kinds of crazy stuff.
Man, you see that? You see that clip of that guy riding that floaty down the street? yeah, like a turtle floaty. He was in the middle of the flood in the street, just riding along.
Just going for the ride.
Yeah.
Rita Nelson Clark says, morning, Paul B. What's going on, Rita?
Hey.
What's going on, fam? Funktropolis fam in the house. Stacey Jean says, good morning, First Sky Omaha family and friends with some sunshine.
Hey, let it in, y'all.
What's happening? Chrissy Norgas is a good morning. Good morning to you as well. We're just chilling on this Friday, August 19th, 2022.
2-2.
Fresh edition of First Sky Omaha in the morning. Tired, boss.
Man, yeah, I'm gonna need you to get some rest, man.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on. Leah Keister says, happy Friday. She's always coming in with that Friday. She like that. She like Fridays. She'd be happy.
TGIF.
Pop said, yeah, it's nuts. I learned about it on the news because, I'm not going out for anything. Heard that. Vicky Young says, good morning. I'm on time, all early. That's what's up.
Hey.
Appreciate you getting up early with us, Vicky Young. What's happening? Pop Rocks in the house.
Man.
All of you over on the radio channel too, thank you for joining us this morning. 6:30 crew, let me know how the mix was.
Vibes. A couple people on the YouTube channel as well. Top of the morning to use.
Yeah. That's what's up. How y'all feeling this morning? Get your hats together. Get your hats together for this show here because we're gonna have an extensive haps a little later on. Lots going on this weekend. Miss E says, good morning, about to drive the boogie to school and listen to y'all in the car. That's what's up.
Drive safely. Drive safely.
Good looking out on that pie, too. I know Brother Muhammad's in here, too. Yeah, brother, got a bean pie from Brother Muhammad delivered to me yesterday from Miss E and Boogie. Appreciate y'all.
Man, it's a beautiful thing.
Needed that, boy. I've been eating chicken soup and stuff this whole time trying to get better.
Hey, broth does you well, man.
Broth did me good, but that bean pie did me right last night.
Yeah, right where you need to be.
Welcome. Good morning. Another fresh edition of First Sky Omaha in the morning. First Sky Omaha Radio. That's right. Oh, I said it backwards. See, I'm tired. Boss.
That's all right.
Friday, August 19th, and we're happy. even though we work during the weekends. It doesn't matter if it's a Friday. But hey, some
Yeah.
people are happy that it's Friday, so I'm happy it's Friday too.
Hey,
We do have a little bit more fun on the weekends than we do
a
than we
little
do
bit, a
days.
little bit. But I will be honest, man. Getting up doing the show in the morning is, it's pretty fun in itself. So
This is
no
true. This
complaint.
is true. Chrissy North says, "I want some pie. I keep hearing about it. Hit up brother Muhammad. He'll be on here. Yeah, man, some serious pies he got going on there. The crust. I'm not gonna get all into it because I'll be looking over like. Let's take a quick break, ladies and gentlemen.
It's calling me. It's calling me.
Good morning to you, buddy. How you feeling, man? What's going on with you?
I'm all right. I'm all right. Could have used like maybe an hour or two more of
You know what I'm
of
saying?
rest, but yeah, I'm all right. We in here. It's Friday. Looking forward to today's episode. If I'm not mistaken, we got Sister Kimra Zuri Snipes coming through.
Yes, that's
Yeah,
right.
man. Looking forward to that conversation. And as always, it's a pleasure speaking with that sister. She's been pretty busy, so looking forward to what she has going on. And then, of course, always just chatting with the chat chimers, man. All the chatty chimers chatting and chiming in in the in the chat. We definitely appreciate y'all, man. And even the ghost listeners, man, we appreciate y'all tuning in right now as well, going to and fro, doing your morning thing. Whatever it is in the morning that you have to get done, going to work, dropping the littles off to school, whatever it is, we appreciate you. We love you. We thank you.
That's what's up.
Yeah, man.
Josh,
Yeah, man.
Josh Takes is good to see and hear you, fellas. Happy Friday, chat chimers. That's
Yes,
what's up.
yes.
Miss E says he has a lot of 4-inch pies left, $5 each. Oh, he has some
Ooh,
little pies, huh? Little,
personal
little
pies.
personal.
Does he send them? Can I get one in the mail? Just go ahead and freeze it,
Man,
send it through.
I think he
Let
does
me know.
freeze them.
Let me know where I need to send the loot.
Yeah, you can get down.
Yeah, give me the loot.
Pop says, man, the next time I get to Omaha, I want to make Brother Muhammad place my first stop. Yeah, Pops. Yeah,
Yeah. Go
yeah.
ahead, do yourself a favor. And for some reason, I always thought like bean pie would be like a beanie, like pork and beans, baked beans kind of flavor. I don't know why I went there. Like I
Pork and
wasn't
beans with a
expecting it to
crust
be
on.
like almondy, like pecan pie.
Yeah, it's like sweet potato goodness. Yeah,
It's like a hybrid between pecan and sweet potato. I can't quite, man. It's do yourselves a favor. Holla at brother Melvin Muhammad.
it's delicious. It's
Man.
delicious.
Also, while we kind of speaking of that,
Matter of fact, we can take
Wednesday.
a quick break. I'll be right back.
Wednesday was Marcus Mosiah Garvey's birthday, so I
Oh yeah,
definitely, before we get too deep into it, and while we're thinking of brother Melvin Muhammad, the Nation of Islam, I wanted to give a big shout out, happy belated birthday to the honorable Marcus Mosiah Garvey, forerunner of Noble Drew Ali, and man, a lot of the African American movements that exist right now in the United States. So big shout out, and yeah, happy belated birthday to the honorable Marcus Mosiah Garvey.
yeah, and more relevant even as of late than in past years, in the past couple decades too. I think
Yeah,
everybody
man.
circling back around on Brother Marcus Garvey stuff.
Hey, he had it. He had it. I mean, even down to like his we talk about, follow the money, talk about financial literacy. Like he had his own bus line, you know what I mean? He was sending people to Africa, created a whole country, Liberia. Like this man was making moves,
Big
making
move.
a real move. So yeah, definitely. If you're not familiar with what Brother Marcus Mosiah Garvey was doing in the UNIA, please do yourself a favor and do some research. Also, speaking of doing research, we're trying to figure out what exactly is Black August. What does that mean? And actually, Black August is a time to lift up revolutionaries who fought for Black liberation and were unjustly treated as enemies of the state, some of whom remain political prisoners. Remember, it is what, August 19th, 2022, and Ed Poindexter is still not free.
Still not free.
So yeah, happy Black August, y'all.
Yep. Wanda Lewis gives us a good morning. Good morning to you as well. Thanks for joining us. Looks like we're gonna have a good crowd here today in order to talk about a thing or two.
Yeah, we got a couple of things to talk about too.
Yeah, let's talk about them.
Yeah, well, before that, how you doing? How you feeling?
Tired, boss.
Okay.
But,
The COVID still got a hold of you?
nah, I'm pretty much kind of back to normal on that. So now I'm just kind of like trying to catch up on some rest. But
Okay.
I don't know what's going on the night before the show. I'm like up and down and up and down. So
It's the jitterbugs, man.
the night
That's how I was in Cali. I didn't want to oversleep, on the
mm,
Cali show, the hotel
yeah,
show. So I was like, man, I'm gonna just wake up every 30 minutes.
Yeah, it could be. It could be because the days that I don't have the show, sleep like a baby.
That's because you know you can sleep in.
That's what
But
it
it's
must
all right.
be.
It's all
Must
right.
be.
We here, and again, we do have plenty of things to talk about. About 10 minutes into the hour, so let's go ahead and get into them. As mentioned, we will have Sister Snipes coming through to discuss everything that she has going on in the community and abroad. She's been traveling a lot and even showing the first
Mhm.
Sky Omaha some love and during her travel. So yeah, definitely looking forward to catching up with her. But also locally, we were kind of looking out for a couple of these HAPs or events this week. OPPD finally had their board meeting yesterday and came out with a resolution. And, not too much people surprised they're moving forward with pushing or kicking the can down the road, if you will, pushing that date to end or close the coal plants down to 2026. So we'll talk about what that means and all the things surrounding that. Also, the city of Omaha has a change of heart recently when it comes to COVID-19 rental relief funds. It looks like now Omaha is taking a page out of Lincoln's book and will be opening undocumented immigrants to be eligible for emergency rental aid. But we're going to talk about exactly what that means. Of course, there's a lot of implications when it comes to that. So we'd definitely love to hear what you have to say on that situation. Also, would definitely love to hear what you think about this recent Omaha City Council proposal to add in license plate detection technology to about 10 areas throughout the city of Omaha. Some people are saying it's an invasion of privacy,
Mm.
surveillance of the whole city. Again, we'd love to hear what you think about it. And of course, we definitely got to talk about these judges in Pennsylvania, man,
Yeah,
selling the kids.
this is why we don't. Yeah, I can't wait to get to that story.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. We'll definitely dive into that one. Of course, as always, if there's anything on your hearts or your minds that we're not discussing, feel free to drop that into the chat. Let your mind be free. Let your voice be heard. But in the meantime, in between time, let's get this thing rolling. Paul B, Buddy the God, all of you. Again, big shout out to Star Trek Rich and the Weaponized Squad. Let's go ahead and get this thing going.
Let's do it. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Once again, you're listening to First Sky Omaha Radio. First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
Paul B, Buddy to God, all of you, the chat chimers. It is Friday, August the 19th, 2022. Get your haps ready for later on in the show. We got an extensive haps today. Lots going on this weekend and lots going on today. So, yeah, get your haps together. Wanda Lewis gives us a good morning. Carolyn Jack says good morning with a purple heart. Pop says, I hear you, buddy. I do that every Sunday, Tuesday, and Thursday night, up every 30 minutes, anticipating the show.
Man.
Also, Miss Erica Fell says, only because they have unspent funds and they're running out of time to spend it, they have to spend it or it'll be ineligible for more. They don't care about immigrant housing. So, yeah, one of these topics that we're talking about here, this change of heart that the city is supposed to be doing. We already got a good comment from Miss Erica Felt on that one. Before we jump into any of this news, did anybody see the sky last night in Omaha? Apparently, I got on my feed last night and there was like 100 people that have been taking pictures of the sky
Hmm.
because of the fiery color. Here's something from a chat chimer, Beth Davis Wilson, right here.
Look at those clouds.
Yeah, it looked crazy. Looked crazy last night. I didn't even look outside. I just saw the feed. Here's another friend of mine, Michaela, capturing this, and I'm just like, what was really going on last night with the sky? So anybody else capture that or see that last night in real time? What was going on there? I don't understand what it was.
Those almost didn't look like clouds.
Yeah, it looked fake. It looked like a graphic. It looked crazy to me. It looked like some kind of like end
Looks
times scene
looks
on
like
it.
smoke.
It kind of does, yeah. Yeah, it looks crazy. Anybody see it
Hmm.
in person? Anybody let us know if you saw it in person. And there was something else I was going to tell you about too. I'll think about it in a minute. The sky is falling. Wanda Lewis said. I hear that.
Man, Chicken
Yeah.
Little.
Well, let's go ahead and jump into it since we know we got a guest coming in here pretty soon. And we want to go ahead and get to some of these topics. So, what's first on the agenda, buddy?
Well, I wanted to kick things off by recapping a few events that we've been looking at over the week, and hopefully, there have been a few chat chimers who was able to be present while some of these decisions and announcements were made. And we'll kick off with the OPPD board vote, which went down yesterday, and not too much surprise, of course, they voted unanimously to continue coal use at the North Omaha plant, at least for now. If you remember, several
Mhm.
years ago, OPPD made a promise to the people of Omaha and that they would close down the plant by 2023. But apparently, due to a overwhelming amount of transfer requests and new power plant requests received by um, the main power organization that handles this region, that can be done. And they have to kick the can down the road now 3 more years, which now they're saying 2026 is their target date to close down the coal plants and then replace them with 2 new natural gas plants, which are currently being built by OPPD and expected to be online by that time. The whole holdup or the whole issue is that if OPP decides to close down those coal plants right now, there could be, according uh, to the actually CEO and president of OPPD, Javier Fernandez, there will be a wide range of blackouts, not just locally, but also regionally. And according to Fernandez, he says that those blackouts would actually happen on some of the coldest and hottest days of the year, which of course could be a life hazard and can definitely be very, very dangerous, especially with people on CPAP and oxygen machines and things like that, especially the elderly out there. It can cause a whole wide range of issues. But I will say that it is noted in this World Herald article that the board did acknowledge the health issues that does come from this coal plant, saying that um, make no mistake, our commitment remains as solid from day one, and that they recognize that they've kind of categorized or characterized their position as being between a rock and a hard place. But saying that this is the only necessary or really only logical option that they have. So, first question: did anybody make it to this hearing, make it to this board meeting? And second question: what are your thoughts?
Well, I can tell you, I'm learning a whole lot about about coal, the coal industry from these series of
Hmm.
articles, just in general. Now it's got me wondering if there are coal plants in other black communities or poor communities around the country, which is the reason why there's this big Trump movement of going back to coal and
Hmm.
keeping coal around and dragging feet on changing coal and everything else. Because if there's health hazards and they're sitting in poor communities, then why would they say let's hurry up, let's get this stuff changed over? There's always going to be growing energy needs. That's a constant. It's a constant that there's going to be growing energy needs all the time. You can't just keep on saying, well, there'll be a lull if we take it out now. They got to do something about making some changes. And are there any studies on whether or not the gas plants are going to be hazardous to health? Are they
Yeah.
being built in the same place? There's got to be some. I'm just learning a lot. I'm learning a lot from it, from this
No,
whole
no,
deal.
that's a very great comment as far as just what they're replacing it with, gas, and how safe is that? How, I mean, we've talked maybe not much on this show, but I know definitely during the Mind and Soul days, we talked a lot about the pipeline situation and what's going on with that, and with them adding 2 gas plants, and one in Douglas County and one in Sarpy County. Will that add to the push for that XL pipeline to be completed? Will that add to the movement of natural gas? Will that add to or increase the activity of fracking throughout the country, that we already know impacts the land and impacts climate change and everything negatively? I personally just feel like And also, while taking in consideration the grades that President Biden gave to the whole infrastructure of the country, I think Nebraska got a C on that, which is not good. It's not good. So I just feel like almost at every industry in the country, man, we need a hard pivot. I'm talking about education, criminal justice, energy, health. Like, we need a hard pivot and really
Planning.
revolutionary. Exactly, we need revolutionary ideas across the board. So
Yeah.
I get a sense that this whole move is kind of just more of the same. There's nothing much we can do. We just gotta wait. It's just
And
that kind of mentality.
the fact that they had said that already, they made these promises and they kicked the can down the road already before. Here we are, well, another 3 years. Here we are 3 years later. Well, another 3 years. So
Right. And I
Wanda,
get that feeling too. 2026, kick the can again.
Wanda Lewis says Councilwoman Juanita Johnson said even though people wanted a 30-day layover, the board decided to proceed with the vote. So Councilwoman Juanita Johnson put some respect on her name, tried to say, give us 30 days. Let's speak to the constituents and let's lay this over. Give us some time. They were like, nah, we're just going to do it now. And they voted on it that fast.
Yeah.
We
And
just
in regards to that 30-day layover that they're asking for, basically OPPD said that can't be done because it takes 18 months to plan this thing, and then one of the plants needs maintenance, which will take like thousands of man hours.
give us your thoughts in the chat. Let us know what you're thinking. If you're thinking like me on this, if you got some other thoughts, other information to share about this subject, and most importantly, were you able to make those meetings and let your voice be heard? Did you hear anybody voicing any opinions about this? Did anybody bring up anything about these coal plants being in North Omaha and the health disparities? There's so much to it. It's crazy, but here we are. It's been voted on. I mean, we talked about this Wednesday. We had articles from Senator Megan Hunt, put some respect on her name, that was saying, "Hey, go to this meeting. Make sure that you speak up on this subject because they're going to try to vote on this and try to extend this out, and it's not good for the health of the surrounding area." And all that stuff. So there's people that have been speaking up on this. There's two politicians we just talked about right now, and here we are, like Wanda Lewis says. So now they're saying that it will be 2026 or maybe longer. So
Mm-hmm.
and really, like, this is just the beginning of the fight for me on understanding that there's a coal plant in North Omaha, that the health disparities that happen because of a coal plant is jacking up North Omaha. And so, not only are they going to extend this, but I mean, first of all, it needs to get out of there anyway. Second of all, now it's going to take even longer to do that. And third of all, what are they putting in its place?
Right.
So there we go. Like I said, put it into the chat. What's your thoughts on that? Give us a little feedback on that, if you will. Christy Nora in the chat says, "Yes, I saw it." Talking about the sky. Did it look like the picture? Was it really looking that crazy in real life? That's what I really want to know about it. I'll put it up again just in case you guys are just joining us. But this is what the sky looked like yesterday, apparently in Omaha. And
Man.
yeah, people are like, wonder if that's coal plant smoke. No, I'm just playing.
It does not look like clouds. It does not look, fully like the clouds I'm used to seeing. I'll say that.
Looks crazy. Looks crazy. That time of year, though, we're gonna have some crazy clouds and some rain and so on and so forth. So, but
Yeah.
yeah, looks interesting. Did it look like that in real life? I want to know. Moving along. Thanks for everybody that's joining us once again. If you're just tuning in right now, we were talking a little bit about that decision that just got made about the coal plant. They voted to go ahead and extend the usage of the plant another 3 years, kicking the can down the road, reneging on promises
Yep.
that they've made before about closing the plant and changing over to natural gas. They'll probably have the natural gas plant done before they change it over, which is probably what their goal.
Yep.
But they're also kind of dragging feet on this. So what are you gonna do?
Hopefully by 2026 we got better options than natural gas. I'll say that. Yeah. But moving along, man, there was another meeting that we were paying attention to, kind of keeping close eyes on throughout this week, talking about Tuesday's city council meeting that went over a few proposals and of course, still considering and going through those charter changes, which are expected, if they are passed through the council, are expected to be present on the November ballot for the citizens to vote on.
Mm-hmm.
But a big thing coming out Tuesday's meeting was actually Omaha's changing of heart, following the tune of Lincoln, who always seems to be a step ahead of Omaha in some way. But Omaha has now reversed an earlier legal stance, and is now opening federal emergency aid to all renters hurt by the pandemic, regardless of citizenship or U.S. legal status. Yes, again, the city of Omaha has reversed its legal position and will now offer emergency rental aid to undocumented immigrants. The change of heart puts Omaha at odds with the opinion of course, state of Nebraska and Governor Pete Ricketts, who has remained very staunch and standing on the idea that they will not give COVID-19 benefits of any form to undocumented immigrants. And also at play, as somebody mentioned already in the chat, there is still millions of dollars left over for Omaha to spend. There's about 18 million to be exact. Omaha still has left in the pot out of the 100 million that they received from the U.S. Treasury Department. But again, the city has to spend that money by the end of the year in order to get consideration for more funds, as the broader impact is the city is literally awaiting word on whether it will be granted another wave of emergency funding to distribute. So the sentiment that they are just trying to find any way to get rid of that money in order to get more might be more accurate than we might think. Applicants for the rental aid must answer a variety of questions and pass various income and eligibility thresholds. But again, the Nebraska Examiner learned of Omaha's turnabout Wednesday after the city legal department notified those involved that there is proof, that proof of legal status is no longer a prerequisite to apply for rent and utility aid. And it all centers on how the city, municipalities, and how mayors and city councils literally interpret the state law. Again, Lincoln from the beginning has interpreted state law to not include legal status as a requirement for aid, while the city of Omaha has basically followed the lead of Pete Ricketts and the rest of the state. But again, what are your thoughts on this? Do you think undocumented immigrants will jump on this opportunity? As far as what I know about undocumented immigrants, they're very weary about this, worrying that engaging or applying for any kind of aid will put them on the radar and basically take them on a path to ICE.
Very true. Also, we haven't spoken anything about the hoops that everybody has to jump through in order to get the aid in the first place, and that can slow all that down. I was sitting here thinking about whether I knew anybody who even got any aid for COVID relief for rental assistance. I don't even know if I know anybody personally that has benefited from this. Anybody in the chat benefited from this, or know anybody that has received some of this $100 million that has been given in order to have some rental relief? I know that we have Dave Pontos on a couple times. He's been doing some pro bono lawyer work to try to help people get rental relief. And he's been kind of tirelessly working on that, as a matter of fact. But I was thinking about who I knew personally on that. Who's been getting these benefits? Who's gotten this? If they got $13 million left, who got the rest of that money? Like, where did it go? Are people getting helped in the first place? And and now, like you said, are undocumented people going to even apply or have to jump through all the hoops in order to be able to even get some assistance?
Right.
So might be one of those things.
Go ahead.
Dave Pontos on again and talk to him about his efforts and what this means for his. Is he going to pivot now and start really trying to help undocumented people get some rental assistance?
Maybe. Also, might be worthwhile to reach out to Match, the Metro Area Continuum for Care for the Homeless, which is a nonprofit who's actually contracted with the city of Omaha to handle and disperse these funds. And they said that they will have like a Spanish speaking staffer in the nonprofit to help people fill out the extensive paperwork and jump through all the hoops that they have to jump through. But again, I am wary of whether or not people will jump on that opportunity and kind of put their neck out to receive that aid. But Dave Pontos, someone from Match, I would love to get more of an idea of how they're approaching this and what they're expecting from this move.
Most def. Coming up on 7:30, if you believe in the concept of time, you're listening to First Sky Omaha Radio. First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
All B, buddy to God, all of you. How you
Hey,
guys doing on this Friday? Let us know. Let us know
let us know.
in the chat. Von Chapman was talking about the last story. He said, unless and until they ask for and get injunctive relief
There you
from
go.
the courts to get studies done as to health hazards in the community, OPPD has already admitted to nothing will change.
Agreed.
Yeah, I feel that. Yeah, they need some time to check the. I mean, that needs to be the point from here on out, as far as I'm concerned, is the health disparities in North Omaha with that plant. Not the power needs, not the fact that there's going to be gas coming, not the fact that they keep on kicking the can down the road, making these promises, but it, whether or not it needs to be moved or shut down or something else needs to happen on that. So unless they ask for and get injunctive relief from the courts to get studies done as to health hazards in the community, OPPD has already admitted to nothing will change. Yeah, I mean, why would they decide they need to change anything or move anything? Nobody's made them do that. They just can keep on pumping out whatever toxins in North Omaha they want to. So
Mm-hmm.
it's got to be the point from now on. Pops in the chat says, here's something a little off the topic, but very important. Apple is directing users of almost all of its various devices to update their software. The company discovered a vulnerability that gives hackers the ability to take control of a device operating system. This is a bad one because the U.S. government cybersecurity and infrastructure security agency has encouraged updating as soon as possible. Here are the Apple links for the security updates. Links for the security updates. Any
Okay.
put those links in the chat. Appreciate that, pops. I got an Apple phone, so I'm definitely gonna look into that myself.
Man, I'm actually getting an Apple in the mail today. So yeah, I'm gonna have to update.
Apple usually has some issues, man. They had that one breach like six years ago that hacked everybody's phone that had information in the cloud.
You talk
So
about all the celebrities?
everybody, it hacked like 1.2 billion people.
Mm.
So
Yeah,
the
see.
celebrity stuff just came out, but yeah.
Don't gotta worry
So
about that on my Android.
I don't know, man. Android's a platform that's easier to get into than Apple. So it's all
I ain't
around.
heard about nothing like that.
Oh, you hear about them all the time, breaches all the time, man. That's why they got a cybersecurity department going on now because like that, this stuff is happening frequently enough to have a whole department. So it's you can get hacked all the time. That's all there is. Pop says here are the things affected. Apple said the vulnerability affects iPhones dating back to the 6S model,
Mm.
iPad 5th generation and later, iPad Air 2 and later, iPad Mini 4 and later, all iPad models, and the 7th generation iPad Touch. The issue also extends to Mac computers running on the company's various operating systems. So that's
There
pretty
you
much
go.
like the whole lineup.
Right.
Crazy. Wanda Lewis says city government is being audited now as well, so they won't be able to divert the funds intended for housing into the general fund like they've done in the past. So
Interesting.
yeah, just one more thing, that's telling us, oh, they have dollars they got to spend, they got to get rid of these dollars before they
Get more.
time is up so they can get more, right? Marianne Williams in the house. Good morning. Says, morning all. I'm incredibly suspicious of the city's change of heart on documented status. Some of the decision makers would rather lose the money than give it to undocumented workers who pay taxes through payroll they will never see a return on, hoping it will help people though. Yeah, that's what we're saying. This is a good point. Like we've heard them say that they rather lose the money, give it back, not accept the money, rather than help people.
Ricketts.
Straight up said that. So like, so yeah, this is the change of heart is an interesting narrative. Who said that? Omaha World Herald, is that where we got the story from? I think that's
No, Nebraska Examiner.
Examiner. Okay, yeah,
Nebraska
very
Examiner.
interesting title on that one. So I appreciate your thoughts. Thanks for the consensus on that. Is yeah, very interesting stuff. We'll take a quick break, come back, jump into some more stories, and don't go anywhere. We got special guest Kimra Snipes coming on in and
Hey,
to talk about some things here pretty soon. So stay tuned for that. In the meantime, you're listening to First Sky Omaha Radio, First Sky Omaha in the morning.
in the morning.
I'll be buddy to God, all of you. Stay tuned, y'all. We'll be right back. morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. First Sky Omaha Radio, First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
What's happening, y'all? Thanks for everybody who is chiming into the chat today. Lots to be said, lots of things to talk about. We're continuing on. Went down a rabbit hole last night on some stock tickers, and it was looking at. I was kind of putting that question out to the chat: is anybody investing? Anybody in the chat investing in stocks? You don't really got to say what you're investing in or how much or anything. Just want to know if that's even the thing, because we're kind of trying to surround ourselves with some financial literacy and people that are doing these things. We can add this to the roster of things we talk about here. And I went down the rabbit hole looking at this ticker to see, each person that I know that owns a stock. I'm looking for a ticker that I can add the current numbers to, only on the ones that people start telling us they have. So of course, like I know that you and I have been, messing with Bitcoin and Ethereum and stuff like that. I definitely look at some of those coins, but I also want to look at some of the stocks that are happening too. It's a good thing to see what's going on with Apple and Tesla and all the big ones, because those are kind of indicators. So might be a feature that we bring on here, and I'm looking for how to do that. So just let us know, let us know. Let's all talk about it. Who's investing? What do you guys? What's everybody investing in? Should we start an investment club? These are some of the things that we want to try to do. Follow the money is part of that as well. Figure out how we can enhance all of our lives with being investors, and not just creating jobs for ourselves, but also investing in businesses for ourselves and others around us.
Making your money make money. And Mayor Sanchez saying, invest in yourself, pay your debt down, which is actually interesting. I saw a video kind of along those lines the other day, and it was kind of a financial literacy budget, woman on social media. And she was saying, actually, a lot of people in our community, that's kind of the push. It was actually a poll, and the majority of people in the African-American, so-called African-American community, their goal was to pay down debt. Where she was like, that's cool, but the goal should be to build wealth, because if you're just paying down debt, that's like, there's a 4-year-old who doesn't have debt, but they also don't have any money. They're broke. You know what I mean? So not having debt is one thing, but having wealth to be able to pay off debt and then also invest in other things and make other moves. That should be the goal, not just paying off debt. So
yeah, 4-year-olds be broke, bro. I try to
man.
like, you gonna buy your ticket, cuz? What's going on? He was like, I ain't got no money. I was like, man, what's wrong? 4-year-olds better get it together. What's going
Come
on
on,
here?
man. Come on, man.
Come
There's
on,
plenty
bro.
of money to make out there, y'all. No,
There you
but
go.
definitely appreciate the tip there. Mayor Sanchez always breaking us off with a financial tip every day. So yeah, we appreciate that.
I think that's the first step, though. You do got to kind of pare that debt down. You get that debt down, you're not paying so much in interest rates, and you got extra money then to invest at that point. So that is definitely first step stuff going on for sure. Definitely in my life, I gotta make sure that happens. That stuff got to get paid down real quick, because I'm looking at growing in knowledge on what to invest and what to do. So you got to get to that point where you got some discretionary funds to be able to do it.
Especially with these not infrastructure, but inflation. With the inflation bills and movements kind of happening, we might see interest rates go up. So yeah, this is a good time to go ahead and attack that debt, but don't just stop there, is all I'm saying.
So true. 7:39. If you believe in the concept of time, what else we got on the agenda, buddy?
Man, continuing our discussion over budget or meetings and hearings that we were paying close attention to this week. City Council has been very busy. Not only, again, did they discuss the change in how they or who they would disperse COVID relief funds to, but also continue their conversations on city charter changes. And then also there's been a proposal that's causing a lot of eyebrows to raise. On Tuesday, City Council discussed a proposal that would allow Douglas County Sheriff's Office to install license plate detection equipment throughout the city at various city traffic lights. And apparently there's already 15 cameras, such cameras throughout the county of Douglas County, but the agreement would approve 10 more such cameras in the city of Omaha, and the vote is expected to come down next week. Will Niemak from the Douglas County Sheriff's Office said the agreement is between the city and the county, and that OPD, Omaha Police Department, isn't involved in the agreement, saying that they won't have access to any of the data collected by the system because they weren't interested in using the technology. But the reason for a lot of eyebrows raising is who will have access to such data and such information. Opponents raising concerns said that the cameras would be an invasion of privacy and that their data could be potentially misused. Spike E. Colt, who's a representative of the ACLU of Nebraska, said the system would be surveillance on the entire city, not just criminals, as Douglas County has mentioned that is their intended target, is not necessarily traffic violations, but as an investigative tool to search for license plate numbers and stolen vehicles and things like that that they're already aware of. But also, council member Amy Melton, she said the system may be a step too far, infringing on citizens' privacy, saying that although she does trust the current sheriff, there isn't a way to prevent future sheriffs, whoever that might be, from misusing the data themselves. Melton went on to say public safety is literally my number one concern, but I also have to think about people's constitutional rights and liberties. And when we just start ticking away at them, that's what this does. So, yeah. What are the thoughts about that? Does the chat support this type of technology being used?
Well, Mayor Sanchez is saying if you're in the public, you have no expectation of privacy. I gotta say that's very true. I think they got everybody's license plate and names and numbers already, bro. So
anyway, right.
Yeah. So this is so this may be all just a bunch of
hoopla,
a bunch of showcasing drama, on stage. But yeah, I mean, there's no way that there's nothing that's ever happened that would make me believe that it wouldn't be more of the same misuse of a thing in especially poor and in communities and communities of people of color and certain sides of town and so on and so forth. There's just no way. Like the way that they misuse using people's names out here, like Bear Alexander and other people that they will call out by name. I'm quite sure that they and let him know that they know his address. I'm quite sure that they know his license plate number too. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
Josh Tate says, there's no way the law enforcement doesn't misuse the data. There's no way.
And who's going to oversee if they misuse it or not? Like Chris Bowling asks, who polices the police? Is there any oversight of this? And then furthermore, not just how the sheriff's office will use this information, but it's up to the sheriff's office whether or not, like it's up to their discretion whether or not they will allow third-party organizations to use this. So again, who's going to oversee this? Yeah, it's definitely worth looking more into. But again, the vote is expected to come down next week, so we'll definitely keep our eyes on that. But moving forward and elsewhere in that hearing, this one might be of interest to the chat chimers. And I did not know that this was not on the city charter, but there's a proposed amendment to add sexual orientation and gender identity to the list of classifications guaranteed equal protection under the charter, which actually apparently drew both criticism and praise. Of course, proponents like Sarah Rips of the ACLU of Nebraska said the amendment would send a strong message to the people of Omaha, saying it imbues a sense of belonging, provides clarity to all stakeholders, and helps the city attract new businesses, create jobs, and address brain drain and better compete in a global marketplace. However, there were opponents to the move. Of course, you got to know that they came from the Christian angle. One opponent, Peter Smagix, said homosexuality is an abomination and contradictory to Christian values, which the language already designates creed as a protected class. But multiple opponents argued that faith should be added to the city charter instead, which is a very, very sticky situation. And yeah, as you huff and puff, Paul, it's a conversation that we're going to be having more and more, man. This whole separation of church and state is coming more to the forefront, as the right wing and your faith-based lunatics, as I'm gonna call them. This is Buddy the God calling them that. But they're coming out the woodwork, man.
Oh, smaggots. Oh no.
Oh man, but that's where a lot of these school board people are coming from.
Well, what's interesting to me is that when we first started talking about this city charter, there was a whole big thing about Mayor Stothard and how much time she's going to spend out of town, and whether or not she ought to get paid, and who's running things when she's gone, and all this. And now I'm starting to feel like that was a pivot. That was some defensive blocking to what the rest of the charter is supposed to be talking about. So
Sleight
that
of hand.
nobody's talking about the rest of the charter. They keep on talking about Gene Stockton and their time off. Um, so yeah, I think it's really interesting now that we keep on learning more and more about what else is on the charter and what and the opinions that we all have for those things. Sean McCarthy said, "Last time I checked, we still aren't living in a theocracy." There you
Yeah.
go. Wanda Lewis says those who oppose said it should be the same rights for all people equally, not leaving out anyone. Okay. Um.
So are they saying like adding sexual orientation and gender identity would exclude people?
Oh, now I'm not sure. Those who oppose said it should be the same rights for all people equally, not leaving out anyone. Hmm.
And I'm curious for those who oppose, who are they saying is being left out?
Yeah, that's a good question. Anybody else give us some other thoughts on that? Want to Lewis clarify that a little bit, if you would, please. Just want to kind of understand what we're thinking about this particular subject on the city charter, and also what else? Is there any other things on the charter that has been standing out that we haven't been talking about because we've been blindsided by certain subjects?
Well, there is another one that's pretty interesting surrounding the whole Rich Paul's situation. If you remember in 2020, outgoing council member Rich Paul's actually voted on his replacement, Colleen Brennan, before he resigned from the city council, which apparently some people are saying was illegal, which was a legal move. And now there is a proposal to prevent such moves from happening, to prevent future council members from voting for their own replacements in the case of a vacancy, which is, of course, drawing criticism. Scott Blake, who actually brought the issue forward throughout the charter convention, said the proposal didn't address the issue. And current city attorney Matt Coos, however, says that there is nothing in the city code that bars a council member from voting on their own replacement, making this proposal necessary. So again, if these proposals are passed and approved by city council, then they will appear on the ballot in November. So these are definitely things to inform ourselves on, and when we do see them on the ballot, whatever these issues are, that we are prepared to vote accurately.
Very true, very true, very true. We'll continue this conversation later. But in the meantime, between time, we got a special guest coming in the house. We should have had her on a long time ago, but we finally got her on
Man,
now. It's Kimra Zuri Snipes. How are you
hey,
this morning?
Good
Good morning, good
morning.
morning, good morning. What's
Good
your shirt say?
morning.
She hustles. It's a scripture.
It's a
Proverbs 30.
I
scripture.
like that. I like that.
How are you doing this morning?
I am, I'm walking and breathing. As long as I'm doing that, I'm okay.
Hey, ain't that the truth? Woke up this morning. Another
Yeah.
opportunity.
I mean, it's a lot of people who didn't, you know what I'm saying? So,
Facts.
Yeah, man. You got
Yeah,
that
you
right.
gotta appreciate the small things. Gotta your eyes
absolutely.
and your arms and things like that.
Well,
Definitely,
I
definitely.
just celebrated this week 8 years since I suffered something very similar to COVID, and I had heart and kidney failure. I lost my sense of smell for a year, so I definitely try not to take things for granted. You know what I'm saying? When you spend a month in the hospital in a coma and all that stuff, like you realize
Man,
that some things don't matter, but some things do. So
facts.
Yeah, that.
Ain't that getting coming in with the word? All right.
You know,
Hey,
I'm thinking too. Just you mentioning that. I remember you telling us about that before, and I was thinking like, how much have you done after that happened? You're just like every opportunity that you have to be able to do something, you're just gonna do it because tomorrow ain't promised. So that
yay,
that
it
must
ain't.
be the reason why you work so hard the way you do.
well, I tell you what, I had a conversation with an elected official, and I said, I remember getting out the hospital and being in a wheelchair, then on a walker, and showing up to a SONA meeting. So don't give me no excuses. You know what I'm saying?
Mm,
That's my thing. If I can show up on a walker, if I can show up on the bus, and y'all can't show up, we got a problem. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's very serious out here, and I think that everything that's happened, especially over the last just couple of years, shows us that leadership is really important. So,
and
So,
lacking.
and don't get me started.
So just to get you started, let me throw this out here. We're assuming that we're talking to all the chat chimers and people, but we have ghost listeners and people too. I'm already talking to you like we're assuming everybody knows who you are. So tell us who you are, what you do, and what's your biggest thing that you're working on right now.
Okay, so my name is Kimara Snipes. I say born, adopted, and raised in Omaha, Nebraska. Most people associate with me as South Omaha, and I did grow up in South Omaha, but I spent more time in North Omaha growing up, really, than I did in South Omaha. So I just consider myself East Omaha, period.
East side, east side.
I currently serve as the Director of Equity and Community Partnerships for a statewide nonprofit that focuses on just really increasing voter turnout throughout the entire state. I also handle all of our organizing school. We hire and train organizers, and I also run our organizing department. In my non-work life, I'm president of the South Omaha Neighborhood Alliance. We really focus on improving South Omaha neighborhoods, and we do that through communication, collaboration, empowerment, and promoting positive perceptions. I have an amazing team over there with me. Don Preister, who's been a mentor of mine since I was much younger. He's currently a city councilman in Bellevue. He used to be a state senator. He's kind of my North Star when it comes to things. Sometimes I really rely on him a lot, but I got a lot of my training through being involved with neighborhood associations. Y'all hear me talk about them all the time. That's where I really got started. That's where I got connected to elected officials. That's where I realized that they put their pants on the same way I do, which is one leg at a time. That's where I got connected and really kind of just started networking, and being in North and South Omaha, I've been slowly kind of bringing it together. What we're working on right now is we have existed for 55 years. I've been in leadership for 3. We are a 501c3. We've done a strategic plan for the first time in 55 years. And part of that is also like improving the civic health of the community. And it's also just getting more connected. And we also recognize that we have to seize opportunity. So right now, there's ARPA funding coming into the city, the county, the state. There's also HUD funding coming into East Omaha as well, which we kind of forget about. And my brain is always going. And one of the things I recognize that lacks in this city, this county, this state, this country really, is just really proper, effective communication. And so same thing like with COVID, this is just how my brain operates. That's the reason why, and this ain't bragging, but I do have to talk about things that I have done. And I created our county's first COVID-19 task forces, but I did it because communication sucks here. They don't communicate with us. And I was on the school board at the time, and I'm getting information and it's scaring me. And that's when I called Terrell, who wasn't even a state senator yet, and shouts out to him. And I was like, we got to do something. And so that's how that happened. Same thing now with this ARPA funding. My mind is just like, okay, $300 million. Don is telling me that in his years of public service, he's never seen anything like this happen before. And he's like in his 70s. I know this is a once in a lifetime opportunity, and somebody has to pay attention. So we've created this sort of ARPA. There's no name for it, but I guess if we were to give it a name, it's some sort of task force. And we decided to pull North Omaha into that. So I called Precious as president of the North Omaha Neighborhood Alliance, because again, this is East Omaha. Language is powerful. And I think that's how they divide us, by keep saying North Omaha, South Omaha. Well, what about somebody like me who's in both? I don't feel like I'm two different people. You know what I'm saying? So it's East Omaha, called Precious. We've created this task force, and it's been a little difficult to navigate because communication sucks. But we do have lists of things that we want. And mainly when you look at this ARPA funding, and I'm just talking about the state right now, it says that they're responsible for gathering information from impacted communities, neighborhoods, and stakeholders. Well, what other group is better than someone who represents neighborhood alliances, Precious and I, and whoever else wants to be involved intentionally, to create some sort of accountability around this. So we've been doing our best to really pay attention. There's been meetings happening. There's been data given out, but it's a lot happening in Omaha. And we got to be paying attention, especially right now, because this is not going to happen again. And let's not forget, too, that like the city and the county each both got money too. I'm talking about $111 million over here, $112 million over here. I mean, there is so much money that's been flooded into this community, and I don't really see no changes. So you are always talking about follow the money. And now is a time where we have to follow the money. And I'm seriously encouraging people, I keep saying their neighborhood associations, because we have to strengthen them.
Yeah.
If neighborhood associations can do what they did for me, living in poverty, mind you, when I was in that situation in the hospital, it was my neighborhood association members who took care of me when I got out the hospital. I don't have a lot of family up here no more. They all keep leaving. You know what I'm saying? They don't want to be in Nebraska no more. The few who were here. So it was them who took care of me. So if you see the network and you see the communal support that they provide, you know what I'm saying, and the leadership development that is provided in that, you know what I'm saying, we can strengthen our own communities. And then there's a bunch of Kimmerer Snipes running around here advocating, because it ain't just me. I'm not the only person with this drive and this hustle, but we always don't know how to put it together. But it can happen. That's where I got my training at.
Well, I'll tell you what. If anybody needs to, if funds are supposed to be going to the neighborhoods, then it seems like they should be reaching out to the neighborhood associations. Who better than the neighborhood associations to let us know what's going on with the neighborhoods?
And so that's the thing, like the city of Omaha, yeah, like the mayor has her neighborhood grants program, and that's cool. You know what I'm saying? You might get $1,200, $2,000, you know what I'm saying? That's cool. You can build a nice little community garden, but we need intentional investment in neighborhood associations. You know, if you practice intellectual curiosity, which the city does not do at all, you'll see that places like Kansas City, you know what I'm saying? You have other places who invest in neighborhoods. Omaha just doesn't invest in them the way that they need the investment. Over at the Alliance, we have a banquet every year. We didn't do it for 2 years because of COVID, but we raise money and we give out our own mini grants because our neighborhood associations don't have 501c3s, and it ain't a whole lot, but we try to do something. And we also give away scholarships to like Metropolitan Community College. But if we have like serious investment in neighborhoods where people are at, and you combine that with some real organizers, because really all I am is a community organizer. That's what I am. And it's a bunch of us out here. You know what I'm saying? We can do this. I talk to Leo Lewis about it all the time. I talk to a few people about it all the time, about the organizing that can be done at the neighborhood level. And it doesn't matter which like your socioeconomic status is. It doesn't matter if you're a renter. Like people can organize and build neighborhood teams and really protect their communities and partner with their elementary schools in their neighborhoods. If you look at neighborhood associations and schools, they typically have practically the same name. My neighborhood association I was representing was Highland South Indian Hill Neighborhood Association. Those are elementary schools. That tells you right there that there should be a connection, yet there isn't. So that's something else that we're working on through our strategic plan at the South Omaha Neighborhood Alliance.
Well, speaking of the strategic plan, we do talk a lot about following the money here. In this case, though, we need to be leading the money. So you guys have already had some meetings with and gone over some ideas and some thoughts and to figure out how to lead that money and put it where it needs to go. Can you share some of that with us? And by the way, if you guys are just joining us, we're here with Kimmerer Zuri Snipes, and she is a neighborhood association. She is just the hardest working person in the neighborhoods. I can tell you that right now. Also, we got to talk a little bit about the school board stuff too, because you kind of opened our eyes up last week in a big way about how much of a force the budget and OPS, OPS budget is, even to the point where they're part of the police budget. I mean, it's huge. So we definitely need to talk about that. And before I let you get going on that, I just want to say there's people in the chat already shouting you out. Miss Erica Felt says she's a powerhouse. Pop says she speaks with the wisdom and the sonic timbre of Guinan. I love it.
Okay.
Also, Ms. Erica Felt says there's no association in Cunningham Lake Ridge. When I heal this winter, I'd really like to learn how to start one.
We can talk about that.
Definitely. Josh J says Omaha citizens appreciate you. Kimmerer Snipes for mayor.
Hey.
There you go.
Energy, boy. I love it. I need it though, and that's the thing too. Like, I had to call. There's a lady I know since I was in the second grade. She used to be my Sunday school teacher, and I called her. I said, "No, I really need you, because when you're out here like this, you also have to protect your spirit." You know what I'm saying? Yep. So even stuff like that is energy, and so I appreciate even just the words like that. It gives me energy, and I definitely need it. So follow the money. I guess I'll start off by just telling you a little bit about this process, just in case people don't know. You know, we have the American Rescue Plan Act money that has come into the state and is flowing now into the cities. And I have to shout out Senator Wayne and Senator McKinney because, they fought hard and they got this once in a lifetime opportunity happening really for North Omaha. And South Omaha kind of stepped in, and really it was Tony Vargas from South Omaha who stepped in and not the other state senator, because I'm not clocked in today and I can keep it all the way 100. South Omaha has 2 state senators and Mike McDonald didn't do jack. So I'm just going to say that. So Tony Vargas stepped in, and South Omaha became a part of this. And so there was an RFP that was issued to contract a surveyor who would survey the community and basically kind of at a high level determine with the state where this funding will go. So the organization that was picked was Olson and Associates, and that's what the name that you typically hear all the time. But just so you know, if you want to follow all the money, it's Olson and Associates. Ali Pointer is a primary consultant. Iconic, an organization from Dallas, Texas. B2 Labs, Lamp Rynearson. Those were the organizations I heard about at the North Omaha meeting. They had 4 different meetings, 2 days in a row, 2 in North Omaha, 2 in South Omaha. When I went to South Omaha, another one was added, and that's Canyon Research Southwest. So they had these meetings in North and South Omaha. These meetings were 4 hours long. And basically what they did was, I'm going to go to my South Omaha notes because I think I was in a better headspace at that time. And so they started off with what they did was a SWOT analysis of North Omaha. They did a SWOT analysis of South Omaha. And they collected all this data. And I have all this data, and I'm happy to share it with you, get it to you somehow. But they did a SWOT analysis, and what they really covered was land use, community resources and redevelopment, transportation and connectivity, natural environment and community health, utility infrastructure, demographics, workforce and housing, the real estate market. They did a summary of a SWOT of North Omaha and South Omaha. And then they went into some small groups. And they had each group do their own SWOT analysis. And if you're not familiar with the SWOT analysis, that's strengths, that's weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. Strengths and weaknesses are more so what do you think they are internally, opportunities and threats, or what do you think are the external sort of opportunities and threats. And so they had the small groups do that. And they wanted people to think about it around economic development, connectivity, and quality of life as far as, how we exist today. And then they asked each group there's like a bug flying around in here, to define what they think the needs are in order to be successful, the highest priority. And they said that they wanted those to be around fundamental change, how to be transformational, and has to be long-lasting economic growth. They then pulled all that information, and what they're going to do is September 19th, the week of September 19th, they're going to have meetings in North and South Omaha where you are able to give public input. And that's basically suggesting project ideas and different things like that. The thing about these projects, though, is that they have to be one-time sort of projects. And I'm looking for my notes on the timeline, but so that's September 19th. They're supposed to do that, have these meetings. They don't have the dates yet or the locations yet. And then
who set this criteria up that it only has to be a one-time project?
Good question. The criteria is supposed to be right now being created by that group of people I mentioned at first, the Olson and Associates and this and that. And so this is the yeah, so that's the answer to that question. And the problem is that there's just so many questions, and it's such a short timeline. And, people have jobs that they have to do as well. So who even has the time to really be trying to do all this? But this task force that we put together did send an email, and we asked for a list of things, and I'd have to go back all the way into my notes to find that list. But one was to just have a meeting, right? I think we also asked for a list of anything they had planned coming up. Uh, 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 what specifically are their duties, and how does that work with the special committee that's been created by the Nebraska legislature? And we also are asking for them to give us weekly updates, but I have not gotten a response to that yet. But so they had a meeting at 8:30 a.m. yesterday. It was a public meeting, but it was only a listening session for people. But so they're supposed to take all this information and put it together, and then they are supposed to submit that to this special committee, and eventually it's supposed to end up being discussed in session, to my understanding. And so for us, we don't have any sort of vested interest. And when I say we, I mean like the alliances, in like getting money, right? We're not asking anybody for any money. What we're asking for is communication, transparency, and if it says that you're supposed to gather input from impacted communities, neighborhoods, and stakeholders, that you do that. We're asking that it be equitable, because when I go to some of these meetings, I have to be transparent. Like, I went to North Omaha and South Omaha, and I really felt more out of place in the South Omaha meeting than I did in the North Omaha meeting, right? And that shouldn't even be. So, like, I need people to understand that North and South Omaha are bigger than 24th Street. You know what I'm saying? So there's a lot to it, but overall, we just need communication. And so that's the reason why we're trying to do this. And that's pretty much the information that I have, on top of like all this data they collected over, they have on land use and where the vacant parcels are, and the zoning and park accessibility and community resources and roadways and active transportation networks, public transit, air quality, which is interesting when you look at it, the environmental health index, health factors for obesity, for cancer, the percentage of people who have internet. I mean, there's a lot of information here. I love data, because when you look at it, it's definitely telling you something if you're, really paying attention. But yeah, that's kind of what I've been doing when I'm not at work.
Right.
Sounds like it's a lot of cooks in the kitchen, though.
Yeah.
We got Precious in the chat as well, who saying, first of all, she appreciates you, Kimmer. She said, just putting notes in comments, week of September 19th, public hearing on ARPA funding for North and South Omaha.
Yeah.
She said, list of projects already sent to them for consideration. And this is bringing up some questions that I have about.
And so, right, in the meetings that they had, in the breakout sessions, they had, so they had at the different tables, they had people start giving out project ideas. And so, and this is the thing, like, you have a lot of people who have been doing work, who have been asking for money for a really long time. You know what I'm saying? And so when you have a situation like that, you create, a climate of where, people have been asking for a really long time. They want something for whatever it is that they do. That is to be expected. So how do you navigate that, right? And so that's the reason why I'm there, just to kind of listen. And you do kind of hear people kind of saying like projects, and when you hear the projects, like, oh, but that's kind of like what you do. Okay. And so this is the reason why you need people who don't have any vested interest also involved in these processes. Because when I look at this data, I feel like when we're thinking about projects, what I'm saying, it should come from what this data is telling us. That's what I feel like. I believe in qualitative data all day long, but quantitative data has a purpose. And so when we talk about these projects, I think they need the input of the right people. And the right people also includes people who don't have a vested interest in money, but in actual, when they say long-term transformational projects, are we going to transform this community, or are we not going to transform this community? Right? We've had a lot of money coming in here. It's time for some transformation. We keep hearing the people saying the same things, how they drive around and seeing the same things they've been seeing for decades.
That's right. Von Chapman in the chat says, who prioritizes the SWAT issues in regard to community needs?
in regard to who prioritized. Let me. What's the question? I might have to read it
It's
myself.
the the who's the people that are prioritizing the SWAT issues? Who put those who prioritized the whole SWAT study?
I would imagine the organizations that I was just talking about, the Olson and
The
Associates,
Olsons,
and the
And,
Allen Pointer,
and,
Kingdom Research.
Labs,
and
and the
about those organizations, who picked those organizations in the first place? Why? How did that come together?
that was that was picked by the committee, the special committee, which is Wayne is on that committee, McKinney's on that committee, Vargas was on that committee, McDonald is on that committee. The Speaker of the House is on that. Wishart is on that committee, I believe. I can't remember all the names off the top of my head right now, but it's a special committee of state senators who did that.
So that I got to start. That's where I got to start. I trust Terrell McKinney, Senator Justin Wayne, Senator Tony Vargas put some respect on their names. If they picked these groups, I'm familiar with Alley Pointer. The only one that stood out to me is because they're the ones who built the Benson Theater. So
Yeah, I talked to. There is also the Department of Economic Development that is highly involved in this, and there is a Black gentleman named Trey who works for the Department of Economic Development, and he's happy to talk to people too who have businesses. You know what I'm saying? Because that's where there is funding at in the Department of Economic Development. But I did call him and talk to him about this process, and he said that Olson Associates was by far the most diverse of the candidates that did apply through the RFP process. He did tell me that.
mm. Precious says when you don't have a vested financial interest, they can control what you say. Also, Vicky Young says exactly why collect the data if we don't use it. Miss E says after the Zoom on Tuesday morning discussing ARPA and education, the recording will be posted on the Department of Labor website. She says she's going to a meeting where they're going to be talking about that too. And she's as a child care provider is going with other child care providers, and I guess they're going to be talking about it then as well. So other meetings coming up with other groups. Um, is that I'm wondering if that information is going to get to this committee that the senators put together.
Well, I know that we're trying to establish this communication. The best thing for now, I think, is those September 19th meetings. I think for sure, like, and here's the thing too, like we keep talking about the state. Let's not forget the city and county. So I was getting ready to say contacting your elected officials. We have to do that. You know what I'm saying? We have to do that. I'm gonna do it quick. Like I know I get on their last nerves, but I don't care. You know what I'm saying? That's what we have to do, y'all. Like we have to call them and ask them these questions because if we don't, they're just gonna do what they do without our involvement and our input. I have learned so much. I learned a lot during COVID with political climate on a school board. That was one thing. Now I'm learning even more, and I realize, and I hate to say it, but I realize like even I've still been somewhat naive because there's some people out here that are involved in these processes. I know they lying to my face. You know what I'm saying? When you can't look me in my eyes when I ask you a question and you looking everywhere but at me, that means you lying to my face. I'm not gonna bust you out right now. I'm not gonna do that because we have to play chess and not checkers, y'all. Because it's a real game out here. It's a real game out here.
I like checkers.
There's a lot going on, and we have to pay attention. So let's not forget. I don't want Justin and Terrell to be the only ones getting it. We got city council people who have got money coming in, and county as well. So don't forget about that too.
Right. So it's coming up on 8:15 right now. We've been digging deep, buddy. I don't know if you got questions on this topic. I wanted to try to get to pivot to the school board stuff, but I'm kind of feeling like we'll have to have her back on another day and talk deeply about the school board stuff because this thing is got this lingering in my mind right now about everything that we've been talking about here for the past few months about this. As soon as we found out that they were asking for this 450 million, we started talking to the Chad Chimers about what should we do with this. Let's make a list of ideas and get it to the people that we need to get it to. And everything that I keep going back to when I'm explaining this to people still has to do with the stuff that like Justin Wayne was talking about, which is expanding the airport area and bringing some
Yeah.
industry in there. Is it, people say, is this going to affordable housing? I say no, but it can go to construction
They have
companies that
$20
need
million that's going towards
construction companies
affordable
that need to
housing.
go up to development companies. They can be development companies and then start developing some affordable housing. That was the plan, right? That was what they said.
I know that as far as affordable housing in the county money, I do know that they have $20 million going towards affordable housing for North and South Omaha. They already have $60 million that's been marked for the airport.
So what is the $20 million for affordable housing means? What they just gonna buy houses for people?
I have to, yeah, so that's the thing, right? That's a great question. And we need
Since
to
the
understand
buzzword.
that. And here's the thing too. Can I say this? I think people feel bad for asking questions because I think in our minds a lot of times we feel like we should already know that. No, we shouldn't.
Right.
We should know nothing they're not telling us. There is no such thing as a stupid question in these situations. I guarantee it. Ask those questions. Please ask those questions.
I'm not all the way sure about what it is that what it is that I would do with the money. You know what I'm saying? Like that's why we do this, so we can get on here and talk about this with people.
And you're not supposed to know by yourself. And that's the problem with these government organizations and everything too. They think they can figure it out all by themselves. How are you going to do that in the city with over 120 languages spoken? How are you going to do that in the city as segregated as Omaha, Nebraska is, when you know good and well you stay right there in your own little pocket and don't come into any of these communities? How dare you sit there and think you can figure out by yourself what these communities need? Come on, man, make it make sense.
That's what I mean by there's a lot of cooks in the kitchen. Like you have the special committee, you have all of these consultants and all of these people doing these SWOT analysis, and it seems like the lowest people on the poll, the last people to get a say in this whole thing, last people to throw some seasoning on it are the people being impacted the most, are the actual people in the community. And I'm kind of curious. I know, Paul, you wanted to pivot on the school board situation, but I think the schools play an important role in this. And my question is, once they figure out what to do with the money, who's going to send it out? Because we've seen, like you said, with the city and county, like matches handling, we have nonprofits handling this money. And I've spoken in the past about some of the loopholes and the cracks that people fall. If you're not a part of this nonprofit, if you don't have any information or any connection to this nonprofit, you're not going to get helped. I feel like there's more people involved with neighborhood associations in schools than there is these nonprofits. So my question to you is, what do you feel the gap, being a part of neighborhood associations and being a part of the school board, what is the gap between that relationship? Because I feel like if we can kind of shore that up, we can actually have more power.
So when you say that, I'm really just strictly thinking about like education, period, even though there's so much more involved with schools. But what in my mind, and this is the reason why I tell y'all, when I say the power of a strategic plan, when I tell you the power of it, right? Because one of the conversations we always have is, how do we sustain this? And that is through young people, right? And that's why I talked about building those connections. I remember being a child and my mom being a room mother and doing PTA stuff. And I remember thinking to myself, when I go to school, I better have it together. Because if I don't, I know my mama gonna find out, right? Really small, but there's power in PTOs. There's power in PTAs. That's really just organizing. That's all it is. And so in my mind, I always thought, why can't we connect these neighborhood associations with these PTOs and PTAs? Because just naturally, it's going to start empowering those schools. We talk about these teachers right now, and I know them because even through the church I was in, we had teachers who every school year, we're trying to get some stuff together to give to them because they got to do it by themselves. If you have a strong core that's supporting your school, then you don't need that, right? So when you start doing that, now you're empowering it. The kids see this, they're involved. You're finding a way to organize together and keep the parents involved. So to me, it just seems natural. I know it seems small to some people, but something like that is really, really powerful. Because at the end of the day, too, like Omaha Public Schools is a city. I have said that. When I went to Atlanta, the last school board conference I got to go to, and when I went to these conferences, I'm telling you, I came home with 50 pages of notes. It's because of me that now, after conferences on Omaha Public School Boards, now they get together, you know what I'm saying, and talk about having a public meeting where they break down all the information they went and got. You see what I'm saying? Because it's powerful information. The breakout session I went to, I told you about that dude. His name is Micah Ali. He's in Compton, California, and serves on the board out there. Brilliant brother. And another one from Maryland out there by DC. And they talked about how one of them talked about how his grandparents, you know what I'm saying, their business, and I can't remember all the technical details, but it was basically created and sustained because of the school district. You know what I'm saying? They talked about the economic power of school districts and how they're able to help the communities around them that they serve. And so in my mind, I'm thinking, because when you go to these districts, you realize how large OPS is. You got districts out here that just got 1,000 people. The East Coast is full of them. OPS is a city. So when he said that, I'm thinking, well, if our budget is larger than the city of Omaha's general fund, how much impact could OPS have on the communities around it? And I really hated that I had to leave that school board, because I had to go get that email before I left, because that was something I was working on trying to figure out when I was still there. And I still have his information. And I look at that email, I'm like, I got to find a way to get that brother here, because he was brilliant. So, it's really at a high level. Don't forget that COVID came in and shifted everything. That's where all the focus went. And I also learned a lot about political climate. But yeah, the school board district is big. You do have police in the schools, but there is also opportunity, I think, to impact. And we have to find a way to build wealth here in these communities. And why not do it through these businesses? Because when we're talking about leadership, right? You talk about how these Republicans got all this money to invest in people. We talk about these nonprofits and these foundations. You know what I'm saying? We have to find a way to build wealth amongst Black people. And then we can start shuffling money to these elected officials that we want in offices as well, because it's going to take money. It's going to take money to get people elected. And now with COVID and CRT and everything else, I mean, look at school boards. When I ran for school board the first time, wasn't nobody interested in school board like that at all. I ran unopposed. You can't do that now.
I'm wondering about how many, like, what ARPA funds might go to OPS, and if there's any ideas on whether or not they're going to get any funds and what it would go to as well.
OPS had ESSER funds, ESSER, and so that came in different phases. And the conversations we were having was really around like mental health. You know what I'm saying? That's what it was for me. Anything I fought for it, and I told people when I ran, my biggest thing was mental health. That was it for me.
I'm going to jump into the chat. It's definitely going off here. Precious in the chat saying, let's see. She said, I got in trouble for inviting the public to stakeholder invited only meetings. My response was that this is why we don't have the trust in the community, because y'all always invited selected folks to meetings. She also says, still don't know who the 20 million is going to directly. I wonder, is it being combined with money going to front porch investments? We've talked a lot about front porch investments. Also, Brianna Full is in the chat. She says, it's not that they don't have trust in the public. It's that for this specific part in the process, they were looking for specific feedback from stakeholders. It would be next to impossible to get good feedback when hundreds of people show up to one meeting, all expecting to be heard. The general public will be involved just at a later time.
So these meetings, let me specify the 4 that happened were for community organizations. Now, excuse me, I still think there was some communication sort of issues. I was in there. There was a gentleman sitting next to me when I was in North Omaha. And so he was from One World. That's fine. I know they have a location on like 90th or whatever. I'm looking around like, I don't see anybody from Charles Drew, right? And so I text Kenny McMorris, like, hey, like, are you aware that they're having these community input meetings? He's like, what meeting? And I'm like, the ARPA community input meetings. Okay, but Terrell told me that he saw Kenny's name on the list. So I think there's some communication stuff happening, right? And so we have to be mindful of communication. Like, I think people forget like how important it is, even at the small details. So even a miscommunication like that, right? And so there were a few community organizations that I called and told that it was happening, and they ended up showing up that didn't know about the process. But that's because, when we communicate about things, we put it in the paper, we put it on our website. Well, everybody ain't doing that. And this is what I go back to too when I say communications. That fire that happened, they had 8 different government organizations represented at that community meeting, and no communications that I get from any of them.
Right.
Can I actually let me put this in, and I want to address Brianna Fool directly on this because I definitely appreciate Brianna Fool comments and as always, but I do want to challenge Brianna directly to practice a little more critical thinking when you're told these things because like I understand she's saying they're looking for specific feedback from stakeholders. Brianna, did you ask who are the stakeholders? Like they keep using these buzzwords and Kimra,
Right.
based on what you just said, I feel like they don't look at anyone in North Omaha as a stakeholder. Who are
Yeah.
these stakeholders that they keep using? Like, please be specific.
That's a really good question. Also, Precious is also saying that back too. She's saying she's been working in this for years. They don't have trust. She kind of knows that they don't, and that's why they are asking specific people questions. And also to challenge that comment too. I'm thinking, I was sitting here going over, and I was like, as many people as we talk to Monday, Wednesday, Friday, it's probably hundreds of people and hundreds of comments all the time that are coming in, maybe even thousands. And there is a way that we can have feedback for everybody who wants to have a say. It may not happen in that one meeting, but they do need to put the due diligence in to take in all comments, especially if they're coming from organized groups like the neighborhood associations. Like it doesn't, or groups like us. We are all having these conversations and we come to some conclusions and we can tell you exactly what it is that we think ought to happen if
You
you've
know
got
how
again
this
to
should
listen.
work? You know how this should really, really work? The city and the county should both have relationships with media outlets like First Sky, outlets like other ones, and neighborhood associations. When something happens, there should be some sort of communication with our city council members or our county commissioners, and they should have some sort of communication protocol set up where they are able to distribute information. They should be coming to these alliance meetings and giving us this information, and not for the first time ever in the month of August when SONA finally got an update about county and city money that was being spent for the first time in August. And yeah, I'm upset about it, and I have righteous anger and deserve to be. That don't mean I dislike my elected officials. It means I'm disappointed in the fact that we got our first ever update in the month of August. But whatever, they should be coming to these alliance meetings on a regular basis. And since it's once a month, they should also be using themselves or their staff, because they got some, to send us communications. And then if we're invested in properly, we should then be able to communicate that to all of our neighborhood association members. Then everybody's informed. That same relationship should be set up with the Omaha Public Schools as well.
Yeah. Again, who are these stakeholders that they keep talking to? Every time they have these, they say that they're communicating. Every time that city planners or whoever these developers say that they're doing their due diligence, they keep using this buzzword of stakeholders. Who are these people? Who
Yeah,
is that?
yeah,
Because obviously the people in the community aren't getting it. So who
You know,
is that?
we definitely need to. I'm leaning towards what you're saying because you have a specific plan. That was a specific plan you just laid out on how things ought to be communicated,
but
and we've been doing this long enough to see how many times things aren't communicated and how many times they will act like they're coming to talk to certain people and then they just go and do what they're going to do anyway. It's happened so many times that we got to say that that's going to happen again if we don't jump on this.
can I say something? Just reading the chat. And this is Kimura speaking for Kimura. I don't think that these community organizations that show up are at fault. You know what I'm saying? And these community organizations, they all really mean well. White Spark, all these different organizations, they mean well. Unfortunately, we do live in a city where they seem to have a certain train of thought when it comes to stakeholders. I went down in like 2016 when they first started having these conversations about all this HUD stuff finally getting ready to happen in South Omaha, my old backyard, right? I went down there and I raised hell. I'm telling you, the next meeting I went, my city councilman was there. I know they called him and was like, "You better get down here because Cameron coming down here acting a fool." And I did. I would say, because y'all, you come down here. I need you to tell me, when you say stakeholder, I need you to tell me who that is. Tell me who that is, because I was not invited to this meeting. There's a whole neighborhood association over here, and y'all talking about tearing down the whole South Side Terrace, and you didn't invite the neighborhood association. I need you to tell me how you define stakeholder. Tell me who it is. So I understand asking that question,
And
and
they,
it's a righteous question that needs to be asked, because for some reason there's always someone left out that needs to be there. And it may not be intentional, but it still happens and it shouldn't happen.
I'm thinking, what my experience is the same. What Beth Davis Wilson is saying in the chat too. The stakeholders are those who don't talk back. So what I'm always seeing is that when they talk about stakeholders, the people that they're talking to are mostly agreeing with everything that's being laid out there. They have an idea that is different from what a lot of what the community thinks, and the people that are in the community mad and speaking up are the ones that they don't call stakeholders. So that's just my opinion. I'm Paul B, and I approve of this message. It's 8:30 right now. If you believe in the concept of time, as you can see, we can go on and on and on talking about this, but we do need to go ahead and wrap this up. I want to give you the final word before we wrap this up with you. And trust and believe, we're gonna have you back. We might even have to do this on a regular basis because there's obviously a lot to talk about. We politic with P. We can neighborhood with Kimra, so we might have to figure something out. So what say you on the final word here on what we need to be doing next? Give us some next steps.
First of all, we have just so many super just passionate people, and that just gives me joy. I just say, y'all, please, first of all, join your neighborhood association or start one. Holler at me in my free time, whenever that is. I will help you in every way that I can. Just like Paul and Buddy say, man, follow the money. If you have any insight or thoughts when it comes to for us trying to maintain accountability, but don't just think about the state, think about the city and the county too, because they got money as well. Mm-hmm. I love that, buddy. What's good in the hood?
We're doing it. It's already done.
Neighborhood dopeness dealer. So hey, I love it.
Yeah.
So just follow the money. Just pay attention and research. Pay attention and research and share information. I mean, I don't know. There's a bunch of next steps that need to happen, but we can't do nothing alone. So let's just get together, and whoever want to do that, let's do that, and then let's talk about it. Figure it out by myself. I need y'all.
We need y'all. That's why we gathering together here Monday, Wednesday, Friday. That's what we're doing. So we appreciate you. And yes, it's a done deal. What's good in the hood with Kimra Snipes coming up on a weekly basis. If you're down, we're down because we gotta talk about these things. So let's get together on it. But let's move on and we'll talk later. And again, really appreciate you coming by and giving us some breakdown on that. This is the most information I've had on what's going on with the ARPA funds yet. So
thank you.
And you know that it's not even complete. You had a few notes, and it raised more questions than answers. Sometimes some of it, but it is what it is because we gotta sort it out. So I appreciate you doing the work, digging in the data, and sorting things out the way that you have. You hustle, just like your shirt say. Appreciate it.
Yes, thank you.
All right, y'all.
All right, have a good one. Peace. We'll see you soon.
See you later,
ladies and gentlemen. What's good in the hood with Miss Kimra Snipes? Man, all right. Somebody in the chat said, yes, more Kimra. That's what I'm talking about. Leah Keister says, thank you so much. Vicky Young, thanks you. Precious says, yeah, definitely share information. Thanks for sharing. Everybody got a lot of good things to say there. So that's what's going on. But Vaughn Chapman said, outstanding presentation. Really appreciate you, Kimra, for coming through. And we'll do this again very soon. Stay tuned. You're listening to First Sky Omaha Radio, First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
We fired up. Paul B, Buddy to God, Kimra Zuri Snipes. It's going down on what's good in the hood with Kimra. That's what's happening. I love it. We'll be right back. Stay tuned. Welcome back. First Sky Omaha Radio, First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
Paul B, Buddy the God is going down.
Hey.
Everybody's all fired up.
Yeah, I do want to address something in the chat really quickly. Brianna Full, it's all love. It's all love. We'll definitely love to have you on. And I'm not saying that Spark CDI and whoever else is at the table does not need to be at the table, but there's a lot of people who aren't at the table that do need to be at the table, and that's just my point. So
That's
yeah,
real. We need it all. We need it all.
yeah.
So it's not
But
an either or situation at all.
no, but when people are just when people are using buzzwords like stakeholder, like people take for granted that they know what that definition is, and language is very powerful. I'm not going to get into it, but there's a lot of words that we take for granted that we think that we know what they mean, and we're sadly mistaken. So when people just say stakeholder, I'm gonna always say, regardless who's saying it, who are you talking about? Please be specific.
True. They got people in the chat that feel like Tanaya Patterson, who just said, clicked on an FB post that had ARPA in the bold and clicked on it, and it was like a pre application. These funds going to be wasted on nonsense or so doled out to uber high paying coordinator positions. If this is not out of the blue, people feel like this because this has happened before. And Kimmer was saying that this is something that this is a once in a lifetime thing. The organizer that she was working with said that he's never seen this in his lifetime. But I've talked to Senator Justin Wayne, who said this has happened 3 or 4 times that he knows of, where hundreds of millions of dollars have come into North Omaha and they have not been distributed in ways that have changed anything in North Omaha. And so we've seen it before, where this stuff goes to where it goes to, and it doesn't. And a lot of people are feeling like they feel. But again, like Buddy's saying, having new blood in the house, having young folks in the house, having new organizations that are coming up with new solutions is also needed. So and that's what I feel like organizations like Spark is, and individuals like Brianna Fools putting herself out there to really try to do some leading and to help some situations out, because we're all coming from the same idea to make North Omaha better, to make the East Side better. That's what this is all coming from. We have different avenues and different lanes to get there, and we need them all. We need all the lanes.
Right. I just wanted to put out the challenge of critical thinking so that we are making sure that even though we ourselves might have good intentions, that we're not being used as pawns, kind of like what we've seen with the if you remember the people that were going out asking for petitions to be signed and they didn't know what the petition was for. They might have good intentions that they want to be civically engaged. They want to get people, have their voices heard. They want to do the right thing. But again, if you're not really using critical thinking, you could be used as a pawn, even if you do have the right intentions. So that's all I'm saying. It's making sure we,
Hey, here's a name I haven't seen in a while. Why Charles Tarlin is in the house over
hey.
Omaha. What's happening? She says North Omaha community partners will be a blessing to North Omaha. I hear that. Appreciate that comment for sure. She says, yeah, so I think Justin means as a whole, the school district, the city, the county, the state, there's been an influx for sure. And he's not just talking about recently, he's talking about a while back too. So money comes in here all the time. There's if there's times that the rest of the other people in the city are talking about making $600 million lakes and all kinds of other things that go all around this city, are you kidding? How much money comes in Midtown, Blackstone? How much money comes in different parts of the city all the time? How much money is supposed to go to blighted areas in North Omaha that ends up going to a Midtown or a NoDo? The money comes in all the time. Is what we're going to do with it and how it gets directed, and then who doles it out and to where. And that's where everything starts getting gummed up all the time. And we've seen it happen too many times to trust it. That's just.
If you remember, we had Ben Gray on, and he talked about some of the investment that he was a part of in North Omaha, and that just brings up the question: like, what leads to real impact? What can we figure out that leads? Because is development it? Is development it? Not really. Ben Gray said he was a part of Walmart. He was a part of the whole Planet Fitness situation off of 60th and Ames. He said he was a part of a few other developments that we've seen in North Omaha. So is development really
all
it?
These.
Right.
We talked about grocery stores. We say that all the time. We still feel like we're living in a food desert, even though Ben Gray helped get all these and Walmart together in quote unquote, the north side. So so is that, like you're saying, is that what we need? Is that the only thing? Is it more of a plan? Do we need more kind of growth? What just doing a thing and then taking off with it? I mean, what is it going to mean? What is it going to mean in the end? Tanara Patterson says, and that $600 million lake will be up and running before ground is broken in North Omaha. Very true.
Yep.
Chrissy Norris said, let's talk about the drought and water shortages, but let's build a BS lake where our aquifers are poisoned and drying up. Brianna Full said, I'd love to come and talk to y'all and hear what I've been up to in regard to North Omaha Recovery Plan. Absolutely.
Yes.
Are you kidding? You're
Please,
always
please.
welcome. Vaughn Chapman says, it's how the money is prioritized and who prioritizes the money, and also who doles it out. It's not just follow the money, but now it's going to be lead the money. We got to do that as well. Facebook user says, we need reparations, our own money to build up our own. This is very true. Now, this hundreds of millions of dollars that is coming is supposed to be our own money.
That's for North and South Omaha.
For North and South Omaha. It's for us. And that is and it's by us because Senator Terrell McKinney and Senator Justin Wayne and Senator Tony Vargas and Senator Carol Blood and all these people went to bat for it to make it come through here and do some good. So the question is, what's the good, and then who gets it, and what's the priority here? So Kimber Snipes says, exactly, Vaughn, and we should be included in that process. Those who understand what the needs are. Most deaf. Those with the feet on the ground understand what the needs are. That's what we can tell. That's what we can say. Right. We got to be honest about where we stand on a lot of stuff. We sit here right now and we talk to a lot of like-minded people. We've built a like-minded family of people so that we can kind of discuss these things and get the language together so we can go out and fight other groups that do not agree with us on some of the things. What I've learned in this process is that there's people who got feet on the ground that talk to a whole lot of the people in North and South Omaha and Central Omaha and all kinds of different places. And a lot of times they are separated and segregated away from other members of the North Side community that have their hand in other things, like that have more access to funds or that are partnered up with the mayor or all kinds. It is what it is.
Backed by Buffett.
There's a separation there, backed by Buffett. Exactly. So there's a separation there that people need to understand exists for a reason. And understand where you're at in that situation. You may and understand how much you are talking to certain other groups. How segregated are you from those groups? I mean, this whole show is to bring all these groups together so we can come up with some kind of solution. That's what this whole thing is about. That's why we have these kinds of conversations, all this passionate back and forth. That's what this is about. So to me, it's just it's a matter of us kind of looking at we have people that we bring on the show that gives us the history. It reminds us about what happened last time some money come through. That reminds us where stuff goes. That it has a bigger picture, outside picture that's on or inside picture that's on the ground. That's why it's really important for us to have Kimber Snipes on regularly because nobody's feet on the ground like she's on the ground. She messes with the schools, the police, the kids, the neighborhoods. Who's doing all that kind of work? Here's a link to the neighborhood lookup tool. Okay. So, I definitely want to check that link out. But, moving along, just a great conversation, great guest, as usual, as always. It's funny, man. I always thought when we have her on, we're going to have to have her on a few times because she's going to have a lot to talk. We got a lot to go through for sure.
Yeah, man. There's actually a couple of things that I wanted to get into that we just didn't have time to in regards to the undocumented immigrants getting, federal rental assistance. With Sister Snipes being in South Omaha, would definitely love to hear her take on that. But and another time. But big shout out to everybody chiming into the chat, letting their minds be free, letting their voices be heard on this situation. A very spirited conversation, and we will definitely continue to have that. For those who have the information, can you please drop that in the chat again? When is that next ARPA meeting? Was it September 19th? I think. If you have any more information, please verify that in the chat.
There you go. 844, if you believe in the concept of time. Buddy, you want to go through a lightning round before we get started on this HAPS?
I know we want to do an extended HAPS, but I don't know if this next story, can we do a lightning round on this? Do we have to put a pin on it talking about these two judges?
Yeah, we definitely need to do lightning round on this. Let's talk about what happened first, and then that's something we can discuss at another time.
Yeah, because we might need to devote a whole episode to this one, man. For those who aren't aware, very, very egregious story coming out of Pennsylvania, reported by the Associated Press. Two former Pennsylvania judges apparently orchestrated a scheme to send children to for-profit jails in exchange for kickbacks, and they were recently ordered to pay more than $200 million to hundreds of people that they victimized in one of the worst judicial scandals in U.S. history. U.S. District Judges Christopher Connor was awarded $106 million in compensatory damages and $100 million in punitive damages to nearly 300 people in a long-running civil suit against the judges. Writing the plaintiffs are the tragic human casualties of a scandal of epic proportions. And what came to be known as the Kids for Cash scandal, two judges shut down a county-run juvenile detention center and accepted the $2.8 million, accepted up to $2.8 million in illegal payments from the builder and co-owner of two for-profit lockups. One of the judges actually presided over juvenile court, pushed a zero-tolerance policy that guaranteed large numbers of kids will be sent to Pennsylvania Child Care and its sister facility. So, yeah.
Feels like you skipped over something when you said it, because if they have to pay this back, then there was a court thing that happened, and there was no convictions that happened. All it was an ordering to give the money back, and for something as egregious as sending kids to youth facilities for money. I think
didn't necessarily skip.
I think it needs to be a criminal thing and not just a civil thing.
And again, I didn't skip it. It's just not in there, and you definitely caught it. Yeah, you definitely caught it. But I didn't skip it. It's just not in there. There are no criminal charges. This is a like you called it. This again was a long running civil suit, so no criminal charges have been brought up. And that's my thoughts on this. Like, just to keep it short. Okay, yeah, 200 million, but are these people being let go? Are they giving their freedom back?
Bon Chapman says those judges should have been put in prison for what they did. That's really, really real. And what I was going to say next is what Miss Erica Felt just said in the chat. This is why I worry about the new juvenile detention center. Having been the victim of a lazy juvenile court judge, it's life affecting. Many of the children those two judges sentenced grew up to be addicts in prison, and some unalived themselves.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. You're right, Christy Nora. Exactly. So, moving on, we will definitely have to come back to this, because we definitely have a situation here where new juvenile justice centers are being built, and are they private? And do we trust the judges? You know, when it's time to go in there and vote, we're looking at all these judges, and I'm always like, I should do more research on these judges, every single time, because now we have a situation in Omaha, in Nebraska, that is the same kind of boiling pot with this juvenile justice center coming up. So
that's actually interesting. Just a quick side note on that, as far as the judges, big shout out to our partners at the Reader. We just had a discussion on our election coverage coming up, and election coverage from the Reader, and one of the journalists did bring up the idea of creating some sort of judge rundown or some kind of coverage of the judges, and that what you just said kind of reinvigorates, like, man, that might be a better idea than I initially thought. So
I had every intention to do better research on that this time around. So
hey, let's do it. But moving on, in other news, this going to Elkhorn River. This is some news being reported by Omaha World Herald. The headline reads: unusual warmth in Elkhorn River likely played a role in child's death from amoeba. If you remember, what was that, last year? There was a young girl who was swimming in the. What'd you say?
Yeah, you're talking about the first time this happened?
Yeah, I think it was about last year when the young girl was swimming in the Elkhorn River and was swept away.
A brain-eating amoeba.
Yep, went missing. So apparently they are now blaming some sort of amoeba. The youth, whose age and gender have not been released, died Wednesday of what is thought to be a nervous system infection caused by the amoeba. I'm not even going to try to pronounce that. It's a scientific designation, but the fast-moving infection is rare and nearly always fatal. The organism that causes the infection is thought to occur naturally in Nebraska waters, but becomes infectious only when those waters reach certain temperatures in the mid-80s. A pediatric infectious disease physician and medical advisor for Douglas County said, Dr. Kari Neiman. So again, there's some amoeba in the water. Please just don't get in Elkhorn River. We'll just leave it at that. Just leave it at
Stay
that.
out of the lakes. Stay out of the lakes. And it was an 8-year-old boy that it just happened to.
Okay, he was.
Recently. So this is the second time that a brain eating amoeba got on somebody from getting in the lakes in the rivers.
Man.
The same thing happened in Iowa this year. Beth Davis Wilson just said.
Okay, so
Scary,
just stay out the water. I'll just say that. Just stay out the water.
It might say something about the recycle the facility that they have to clean the water here. It may be that it's not up to par. I mean, they're blaming it on the weather right now, but like maybe the because that river, you know what I'm saying, they have to have a water treatment sewage system because that water will go back into the lakes and rivers. So like, you know, it could be something like that. Precious says in 2020 the lawyers. Oh, okay. So they're still talking. You guys are really on this the thing with the judges. That's crazy. Brother Sanchez says the young girl who got swept away in the La Platte River near Louisville.
That's what I was thinking of. That's what I was thinking.
No, it wasn't about the sweat. It was about the brain eating amoeba. There was another. I think it was an adult that got this. They said this is the second time that somebody's passed away from this amoeba.
Yeah, earlier this summer somebody died.
Yeah. Stay out of the lakes. People who went to a splash park in Kansas City came sick with diarrhea and fecal bacterial being in the water. That includes swimming pools and these apartments too. Yeah, I'll be telling everybody I'm from California. Stay out of public pools, y'all. I'll be trying to say. She said, Precious says, I've been wanting to go tubing a few weeks, but not now. I don't know. Water's moving. It's a little safer, but Elkhorn is a river. That was a river that this little boy went into and came out with this amoeba. So I don't know. I haven't been to the Elkhorn River. I don't know how well it moves, but I ain't getting nothing that's stationary. That's for real.
No. And again, this is naturally occurring. So all it takes is a little heat, and there you go. So
we got sick after going to Fun Place. Stay out of. I'm trying to tell y'all. I don't trust it. I don't drink the tap water, and I don't trust the water treatment system here. I just don't do it.
That city punch.
She says they don't clean the river. They say it comes from water being forced up the nose. Said, look, I'm just going to use the water hose sprinkler in my backyard. Okay.
All right. Keep it simple. Keep it simple. But that does it for the lightning round. That's all I got.
That's what's up. Well, let's go ahead and jump into the haps because we have a very extensive haps. We've got about 8 minutes left in the show. Yeah. Wanda Lewis, I think they no reason to be alarmed. I don't know.
No. Sounds pretty alarming to me.
That's real.
What's the haps? What's happening? What's going down?
Stay out the water. Just stay out the water. Sucker MPs. Ladies and gentlemen, time for the haps. Time for us to talk about some things that's going on this weekend. Lots happening this weekend, as a matter of fact.
Yeah, man.
Time for you to get your haps together to let us know what's going on this weekend too. Buddy, you want to start? Because I got a whole bunch. You got a couple you want to throw in there real quick?
You might as well go ahead and just knock them out, man.
Just go on in with it. All right.
Just go ahead.
First and foremost, American Sun started last night. It had a great opening night. Those of you that don't understand what we were trying to do here, if you're a chat chimer, if you are friends of Sky Omaha, I have free tickets for you, and that goes for everybody who wants to go. So there's a lot of days coming up. As a matter of fact, it's the 18th through the 21st, and then the 25th through the 27th. I was thinking about maybe trying to get a group to go on the second week, that Thursday or Friday, maybe the 25th or 26th. Carolyn is in the chat. She's in the Friends of Sky Omaha trying to put a group together to go. And as many people that want to go, let me know. I got free tickets for you to go check it out. But American Son, Christopher Demos Brown, directed by Kathy Tyree. Let's definitely go and support Kathy Tyree and the wonderful cast. It was opening night last night. Went off. Good show. Good show to go check out. And very thought provoking. There's a lot of people that need to see this. Like how Miss Erica Felt was saying to me the other day, a lot of people need to see this show. A lot of us may not. We're tired of this whole theme of police shooting unarmed people, but a lot of people need to kind of see what the family goes through when stuff like that happens. So definitely check out American Son, directed by Kathy Tyree at the Benson Theater. Hit me up for tickets for sure. It's going down. Also, what's happening August 28th, the Wiz Costume Jam is going down. That's also at the Benson Theater. Sunday, August 28th, starting at 6 p.m. We're gonna wear the costumes, sing the songs, dance the dances, watch the film, act a fool. You guys know what it is. It's the Wiz. We're gonna do a Rocky Horror Picture Style. So definitely get your costumes together. I heard some people said they remember that sequence at the end of the Wiz where it said you got to be seen in green, you got to be seen in gold, and people were breaking out their gold disco outfits and all kinds of stuff. So all kinds of different costumes you can wear to this, and we're gonna have a good time that night. So definitely check it out. Get your tickets. And you can hit me up for this too. I actually got some tickets for this too, for a couple giveaways. Not as many as the American Sun, but I have some giveaways for this. So let me know if you're down to go. And if you're going to wear a costume, especially let me know, because we definitely got some tickets for you and your crew on that. So check out the Wiz Costume Jam Sunday, August 28th. It's going down for sure. Man, what else we got? There's so many things popping off.
Yeah, I got a few for the people. That's all right.
Okay.
Letting the people know Afrofest Omaha is coming up. Is right around the corner. That's going down September 3rd at 3 p.m. in Stinson Park. Big shout out to the whole Afrofest, the Afro Omaha organization, man. They've been getting down, man, not just the Afrofest Omaha, but they have business expos, fashion shows, all kinds of things going on throughout the year. So definitely tap in with our brothers and sisters with the Afro Omaha, again, going down Saturday, September 3rd at Stinson Park. From 2 to 10, man. Music, vendors, food. Just come through and experience it. Come through. It's a good time. Also, big shout out to our partners over at Omaha Performing Arts. They are continuing their music at Miller Park events. That's going down Saturday, August 20th. So that is tomorrow. Again, tomorrow at 7:30 p.m. Music at Miller Park. That's 2707 Reddick Avenue. Come out and support our local artists. Also, this is in partnership with Mandela Elementary School, Minnelusa, and Miller Park Neighborhood Association. So, talking about the schools and the neighborhood associations coming together, this is one of those types of events. So, definitely, please come out, support. This is a free event, so you don't, just come out, bring your chairs, blankets, sunscreen. You can even bring your own food, beer, wine, whatever. Just come through, have a good time.
Right on, right on. I was seeing this one because I saw Kimmer's face on it. And this is something that's going on here. I believe it is. I forgot the date. I put the date down and forgot the date. Check out On the Pond Summit. Say again.
Kimmer, if you have that, if you're still in the chat, let us know what day is this.
Yep. Summit agenda. Check out onthepondsummit.com. Check that out to get the dates and times. There's some times there, but not the dates there. So definitely check this out as well. Dr. Dale Gines is a name that I hear a lot doing some things as well. So him and Kimmer Snipes together, definitely check that out. Fireside chat with those two. Check out onthepondsummit.com and get your rest of your details there on that. This is something that's going on as well that I think is very, very important. August 28th, 2022, 1 p.m. to 5 p.m. This is all about the Lakota tribes in Nebraska, man. They're bringing awareness to the fact that there's people that are disappearing, that they're not paying good enough attention to finding them. So there's a lot of stuff going on here. A lot of people that are going to be a part of this. I actually got this from the what's the brother's name? The
Lavelle Wells?
No, I'm having a oh, wow. MMA fighter.
Houston
Alexander. Yes, thank you. I don't know why I'm stuck on that. He's gonna be DJing there, and he's gonna be there as a guest speaker as well. So yeah, this is great, man. There's gonna be a lot of different tribes there, a lot of people who are trying to support this whole situation here. So definitely get ready for that. August 28th is coming up. Free for kids under 13. Definitely check it out at INDI41ONE.com. And I'll get some more information there on that. Whew, tired, boss.
Kimmer in the chat.
Yeah.
With the date.
What was the date?
August 20th. She
okay,
said
August 20th.
Saturday.
Right on. August 20th. That's
tomorrow.
Okay, so I'm glad we're talking about this right now. So Fireside Chat, August 20th. As you can see, registration 8 o'clock, main session 9:05. They'll be talking until all the way through lunch there. So definitely hit them up on that and check them out for sure. I think this is going to be a very, very powerful conversation. As you can see, you just heard from Miss Knife, so you already know what's going to be.
She's fired up. Fireside chat indeed.
Shout out to Culture House and the Omaha Symphony, who puts on North Side Story And I did write down the date for that. Northside Story is
You
sorry
got it,
about
Paul.
that, folks.
You
Yeah,
got it.
it's Sunday the 21st at 5 p.m. And that's going to be over in on 24th Street at the park there. So definitely check them out. All the kids playing strings and all that good stuff. They've done this a couple times. Shout out to Culture House and Omaha Symphony on that. Definitely check them out as well.
It's like a string recital.
Yeah, man, they're out there at the park, kind of playing little songs and stuff like that. It's pretty cool. I drove by there the first time they did it, and I thought that was pretty cool. Very very cool.
Nice.
Also, this Power Wheels car show I think is pretty cool too. With the Bryant
Hey.
Basketball Court Youth Center. Yeah, this is dope. The Power Wheels car show is going down August
Man,
21st, 2022, 1 to 4 p.m. Something for the kids, man. Over there, Bryant Basketball and Court Youth Center on
bringing
Grant
out the
Street.
babies.
Bring the babies out.
Man. Also, speaking of the Deuce and the Bryant Center tonight, if you don't have anything going down, movie night on the Deuce.
Yes,
Big
sir.
shout out to St. Benedict the Moore, and also big shout out to Island Chill 402 and North Omaha Community Partnership for all coming together to make this happen. It is free for the family, so definitely come out and support, man. Have a good time out there on the Deuce at the Bryant Center, man. So beautiful thing. Actually, this is a weekly thing, so not just tonight, but they'll be doing it for the following weeks. So definitely tap in.
Island Chill's been. I'm noticing that they got a lot of events going on for sure. So that's what's up. Appreciate that. And one last one before we get out here. I know we're late, but Amber Ruff is going to be in town over at the theater as well for the Omaha Comedy Fest. So definitely check her out over there. I believe that the King of Kong is the show that everybody is trying to see. She's actually going to be there a couple of days, but this one September 3rd at 9:00 is supposed to be the real funny show here. So definitely check her out. Omaha native Amber Ruffin got her own show on the NBC network. I know you know who she is. She'll be in town at the Benson Theater for this King of Kong musical parody. It's supposed to be hilarious. So definitely check that out. Get your tickets at bensontheater.org. At this point, we got a few more, but we're going to have to go ahead and get out of here because I feel bad that we're running so late. So let's go ahead and get on up out of here. Buddy, you got some words for the people?
Man, as always, a big shout out to the listeners, the chat chimers, ghost listeners, first and last time listeners, everyone who experienced this conversation with us today. We appreciate you. We love you. We thank you. Even if you don't agree with everything we say, it's important that we have the conversation and put everything on the table to figure it out together. So again, each one teach one, tell a friend and tell a friend. We're here Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. So yeah, definitely spread the news. And until next time, big shout out to Sister Kimra for dropping some much needed information on us. As always, pleasure to speak with you. Looking forward to having you back more often. And without further ado, Paul B, take it away.
Right on. Miss E says an incredible info packed show. Thank you. Drink water. Tell your money what to do so you don't have to chase it. Check your titties and be good to yourselves. Appreciate you, Miss E. And those of you, don't forget about Miss E as well. We're doing the meal train with her. So you got that link in Friends of First Sky Omaha. Definitely donate to the cause. She got a major operation happening, and she's got to shut down her business for a while in order to have that operation and recover. And we're here to help her. So check out the meal train situation. It is over on Friends of First Sky Omaha. Donate and then also commit to bringing a meal or two. So that's what we're doing for our Friends of First Sky Omaha, Miss E, valued member of our community here. So let's definitely help her out. Pop says, man, what a show. Thank you and have a good weekend. Also, let's not forget our sister, Miss Erica Felt. He's saying that too. Let's show her and her son some love. I appreciate that for sure. Miss Kimmer Snipe says, my social club is proud sponsor of the Big Wheel Derby. That's what's up. I love that. Brooke says, great show, guys. Appreciate it. Vicky Young says, great show. Carolyn Jack says, great show. Check out Carolyn Jack, man. She's still trying to put things together for us Friends of First Sky Omaha to hit that American Sun play. Got free tickets for you, so hit her up so she can arrange that for us. Mama God said, enjoy the info. Good to see your name there, Mama God.
Hey, my dukes.
Appreciate that. Brooke said, keeping you in my prayers. So that's what's going on. Thank you, everybody who's joined us. Really appreciate all of you guys. Thanks to Maha. Go ahead.
Really quickly before we get out of here, just reminding the people that I will be in town September 10th. That weekend. Like the 9th through that Monday or something. I'll be in town. I'm DJing a wedding. So yeah, let's try to get together or something.
Might have to have a little Chad Chimers kickback then.
Might have to.
Thanks to Ulu Maha Tribe elders for allowing us to be on this land and speak while we're here. Thanks to our elders for allowing us to speak before them. Thank you to all of you, the chat chimers, who have very passionately helped us to have deep discussions today. Really appreciate that. Shout out to Kim Missouri Snipes, who came on today. Really appreciate her. And thank you to everybody who is a reoccurring member of the channel as well. We can't do this without your help there. So if you are so inclined, go to firstskyOmaha.com, hit the donate button, and help us keep these conversations rolling. Really appreciate everyone. Have a good weekend. We'll see you Monday. Take care of yourselves. Peace.
Peace.
By the way, Vanglorious, this is protected by the Red